All right, let's dive right into a topic that honestly usually gets a collective groan from pretty much everyone: taxes. Today in this explainer, we are unpacking the fundamental mechanics of why we actually pay them, what they do, and why they are so often called the literal price of society. So let's start here. We have all felt this exact pain. You work incredibly hard, you do the math on your hourly rate in your head, and you were expecting a nice, clean $500 paycheck. You finally open up that envelope or check your banking app, and just like that, instead of 500, you are looking at $450. It forces this immediate, completely relatable frustration, right? Where on earth did that $50 go? The absolute natural instinct is just to think, hey, that is my money. But consider the alternative for a second. Would you actually rather keep 100% of your cash if it meant giving up paved roads, public schools, and having absolutely no one to call if your house catches fire? Most of us never really pause to calculate that massive trade-off. To really wrap our heads around that trade-off, we kind of have to look past this idea of a tax just being some annoying government penalty. At its core, a tax is simply money collected from individuals and businesses to pay for public services and basically operate society. Think of it like a giant, collective community pot. We all chip in a little bit so we can actually afford the massive things that literally nobody could pay for entirely on their own. Imagine this. You've got 100 neighbors living on the exact same street, and that street desperately needs pothole repairs. If we left this up to individual negotiation, every single time a pothole opens up, all 100 people would have to step outside and argue about who pays what. Total, absolute chaos. Some folks wouldn't have the cash on hand. Others might just flat out refuse. But through a community fund, everyone just agrees to contribute a small amount regularly. The money is sitting there when you need it, the work gets done smoothly, and everybody benefits. Taxes are really just that shared neighborhood fund, just scaled up to a massive national level. When we scale this whole concept up to real numbers, let's say a $10 million town budget, you can see exactly how this massive fund gets deployed. You've got $4 million going to schools, $2 million for police, $1.5 million each for fire and roads, and $1 million for parks. These are fundamental public services that benefit every single person, and the collected revenue is simply redistributed to provide them. Take the absolute biggest slice of that pie: education. Running public schools requires a massive amount of overhead. We're talking teachers, physical buildings, technology, a huge fleet of buses, and just constant everyday maintenance. Without tax money pooling all our resources together and ensuring equal access, the really harsh reality is that a lot of families simply could not afford to educate their kids. Taxes are what make education a public right rather than just a private luxury. Or imagine this absolute nightmare scenario. Your house catches fire. You call 911. The fire trucks arrive with sirens blaring. But instead of pulling out the hoses, the firefighters look at you and ask, "Hey, can you pay first? Do you guys take Apple Pay?" I mean, it sounds completely absurd, right? But that perfectly illustrates exactly why emergency services absolutely must be pre-funded. Taxes are what allow first responders to act immediately to save lives and property without needing to negotiate a price tag while your living room is literally going up in flames. And it goes way beyond just local emergencies. Taxes build the massive macro-level infrastructure that lets a country actually function. We are talking about vast road and bridge networks, water systems, the electrical grids keeping our lights on. Literally every single time you turn on a faucet or cross a bridge on your morning commute, you are using tax-funded infrastructure. It also covers national defense and border security, which means that even if you personally never interact with a soldier in your entire life, you still benefit from living in a protected country. And we can't forget the safety nets, like disaster relief when a hurricane hits. We use these huge systems daily, usually without giving them a second thought. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, okay, but why can't taxes just be optional donations? Well, this leads us to a really fascinating economic mental model called the free rider problem. Basically, this occurs when individuals benefit from a shared resource without actually paying for it, which eventually causes the whole service to fail for everyone else. Relying on voluntary donations for essential public goods is unfortunately structurally doomed to fail. Let's walk through exactly why these voluntary systems collapse. So imagine a neighborhood decides they want a $10,000 security guard. With 100 homes, everyone agrees to chip in $100. Simple enough, right? But then 5 people decide to be free riders. They flat out refuse to pay, knowing full well the guard is still going to patrol their street anyway. This creates a massive cascade of resentment. Other neighbors realize, hey, we're subsidizing the non-payers, so they stop contributing too. Very quickly, the funding collapses entirely. The guard leaves, and the protection just disappears for everyone. This logically proves exactly why taxes have to be mandatory to keep society functioning. To prevent that entire system collapse, governments mandate the collection. But they don't just pull it all directly from your paycheck. They diversify their revenue streams across all different types of economic activity. Income tax hits your earnings. Sales tax captures consumer purchases. Property tax leverages real estate to heavily fund those local schools we were just talking about. And corporate tax is levied on business profits. It is this huge, complex matrix designed to capture enough revenue across the board to keep the whole society running smoothly. Of course, taxation is an ongoing, massive debate, and probably always will be. On one hand, you have the undeniable pros, ensuring equal access to essential services, guaranteeing public safety, and building the functioning infrastructure that we all rely on. But on the other hand, the cons are very, very real. Mandatory taxes absolutely reduce your individual take-home pay, meaning you literally have less money in your pocket to spend or save. And for businesses, higher taxes mean less capital available to operate, hire new people, or grow. And that brings us to a really important realization for this explainer. Understanding taxes does not require agreeing with every single tax policy. It is completely normal and honestly very healthy to debate how high taxes should be, who should pay more, or exactly how the government prioritizes spending that money. But true financial literacy requires understanding the underlying mechanics first. You have to know why that money moves before you can effectively debate how it should be used. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Look around your community today. If you could legally stop paying taxes tomorrow, but you had to permanently give up access to one public service you use every single day, what would you be willing to sacrifice? Nobody genuinely enjoys paying taxes, but understanding them is the very first step toward understanding the true price of society. Let us know your answer in the comments.